Cheers. Hi everyone. Today I have a really good person for you today. It's hypnotist Alan Bates. He does some amazing work with 40 years of experience, and we're going to have a chat today with him. He's going to explain what hypnotherapy is, and let's do it today. Hi Alan.
Hi,
How are
nice to meet you, Andrew. It really
Me
is.
too.
I've heard lots of
Me
good
too.
things about you,
You too.
and it's nice to be on your program, so to speak.
Yeah. How this came about is that since I'm based in Malta, right?
Yeah.
Alan, to be honest, he's really famous in Malta as a hypnotherapist because I think everyone knows him as a hypnotist.
That's right.
Yeah, it's true. And a lot of my clients were mentioning him to me, how amazing he was when he was on the television and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, I need to meet this guy. And my viewers need to see who he is.
Right, okay. Well, as you said before, 40 years experience. I've
Yeah.
been doing this for a very long time. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. And I always give 100% to all my clients. Now, we're talking hypnotherapy now. Don't forget there's different directions that we can go with. Once a subject, once a client is hypnotized, you can either use it for the entertainment purpose, you can use it for therapy, which is very important and very much in demand at the moment. And you can also spin it around and use past life regression, but that's a separate issue completely. But hypnosis does work, and I wouldn't be coming back to Malta every single month without getting the results. Because at the end of the day, no matter what job you do, whether you're an electrician, whether you're a plumber, no matter what occupation you have to get results.
100%.
And if you don't get the results, well, you're not going to be coming back to Malta, are you?
No, you're not. That's 100% true. And so, briefly, what is hypnosis? What is hypnotherapy?
Well, that's a great question, actually. Hypnotherapy, hypnosis is a state of mind, and hypnotherapy is therapy resulting from hypnosis. So I started off on the stage, hypnotising people on the stage, and as an entertainer. And I still do that occasionally, and I still enjoy it. It's a great buzz when you've got 500 people, even more on a stage, and you're having a lot of fun, respectable fun. So I still enjoy that aspect. But there's more people wanting therapy now, alternative therapies from alternative mainstream medication, and GPs and psychologists. And I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody's good at what they do, these medical professionals. But hypnotherapy is an extra tool to the toolbox.
It's true.
And it works.
It works. Me, myself, I do some hypnotherapy as well, but since I'm coaching in the law of attraction, I really use hypnosis to get them in the state of starting to use the law of attraction.
Yeah.
So it's really, I see it as really similar to meditation.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, exactly, yeah, but it's more of a guided meditation.
More of a
Very
guided
similar for your viewers on this cast here today who don't quite understand, because it is
Some are
complex.
afraid.
And there's a lot to understand. You never lose control. You are in control, but it's somewhat similar to a daydream. When you are, and everybody daydreams from time to time, if you get yourself into a situation where you're ironing or doing the dishes or driving a long distance, and all of a sudden it's not you driving the car, it's your subconscious mind that's driving the car, and it's like a daydream, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, back in the room, you know. But it's more profound, and it's when it's guided meditation, guided hypnosis by a fully experienced practitioner. That can take you into not just a light daydream, but a very deep, profound state.
It's true. And how can people benefit from the hypnosis?
Well, in lots of cases, I had a lady not long ago who had lost thousands of euros, a little old lady, and she was lovely, she was. She lost, well, she didn't lose it. It was several thousand euros she'd stashed in her house and didn't know where she'd put it.
Oh.
So I hypnotised her, regressed her, and followed her tracks, and found out that she'd put it in a certain place that she forgot. So that was absolutely fabulous.
That's crazy.
It's a nice story.
Wow.
But it's not all as nice as that, because
Yeah.
I get people coming to see me with historical child sexual abuse,
Yeah.
which is the nastiest, vile, most
Yeah.
horrible things. Narcissistic relationships, I get a lot of those.
Oh.
I've got no time for narcissists whatsoever, and there are lots of them around as well, trust
Wow.
me. And I deal with the usual, getting people to stop smoking, weight loss, stress and anxiety is a big one.
Yeah, it
Everybody,
is.
with the lifestyles that we have these days, a lot of people are stressed, they're anxious, and it can make you ill, it can make you sick.
It can.
So don't suffer in silence. I always say this, don't suffer in silence, do something about it.
Yeah.
And I get great results with this, because it's the experience.
I believe you.
It's after the 40 years experience.
40 years experience.
Even now I still learn things, and I do get
Yeah.
people coming to see me with with some crazy issues, but also some very saddening cases as well. Bereavements, for one. You know, bereavement is an emotion. Jealousy and bereavements are two of the strongest emotions, and if you're suffering from them, bless you, because it's absolutely soul tearing you apart. You know, and I've helped people. I've saved lives. People are going to commit suicide. I've saved many lives over my life's work. You know, and it's all worthwhile.
Wow, amazing.
All worthwhile.
It is worthwhile. And yesterday was the suicide awareness something.
I missed that. I'm too busy doing sessions.
Yeah,
I missed it all.
Because everyone was posting on Facebook, Robin Williams and stuff like that.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I did actually. Funnily enough, yeah. A friend of mine did post on that. Yes.
Yeah.
He was a real amazing. Not just was he a very talented actor and a nice guy, but he was suffering in silence. All these demons inside, and if he'd only come to me, we might have changed things around.
It's true. If people really come to people like you, it's something which can actually change their life and transform them in an instant.
Yes, yeah. But always remember, Andrew, it doesn't work for everybody, you know. No. And there are disappointed people, and it pains me at times, because when people come to see me for a therapy, the likes of smoking, and then afterwards they're no different, and they haven't stopped. You know, it's not the result I want, but I know I've got a clear conscience because I've given them 100% of 40 years experience and something just as much interesting. Now, this is what people don't look at, and that is some smokers love the idea of giving up, but do they really want to stop? Now, that's a conflict of interest.
Early in my career.
Really, I like the idea of smoking, giving up smoking, but do I really, when it comes down to, you know, the decision, but do I really want to stop? You know, now the people that come to see me who genuinely want to stop smoking for the right reasons, in the majority of cases I stop them.
Awesome. And I think it's the story you tell yourself, right? When it comes to smoking, etc., etc. It's your belief system. If you tell yourself you can't stop smoking because you don't want to.
Yeah, because you pre-program in your mind negatively. You pre-program in your mind negatively, and if that's the case, then you're not gonna. You know, it's probably not gonna work for you. But in the majority of cases, we've got as much chance as patches, Zybon, Chimpax, good old willpower, because that's failed them in the first place. You know, and people use smoking as as a crutch. They use that because if they're in a stressful life or relationship, you know, they think it's their friend, and then long term they realise, oh, this is a false friend.
No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
It's like, you know, it's like something which is filling the void.
Yeah, and 4 people die every day of a smoking-related disease here in
4
Malta.
people die
4
in
people
Malta.
In Malta every day.
Every day
of a smoking-related disease. Now you might argue and you might say, well, you know, if that person hadn't smoked, would they live another 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Yeah. You just don't know. But at the end of the day, it's dirty, disgusting, it's a filthy habit. And I used to smoke, and I stopped 20 years ago.
Well done. Yeah, and that's...
Do you smoke?
No.
Good.
That's another thing. For example, I'm more into what I said, law of attraction, anxiety and stress, blah, 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 because I've never smoked. And I feel incongruent of helping people who didn't smoke. For example, Alan used to smoke and stopped.
Yeah,
so that
absolutely.
Actually gives you more power.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I can empathise with people, and I can understand what they're going through. Yeah. I was very fortunate when I stopped. I used self-hypnosis, and that did help me.
It works.
But I also made the conscious decision never to smoke again, and it's one of the best decisions you can ever do. Because as you get older, you realise how precious life is, and if you want to see your kids, your grandkids grow, well, you give up smoking because. Given the opportunity now, I would say the majority of smokers in the world, if you used to say, right, if you had the opportunity never to have done this, would you? People say, absolutely, it's a no-brainer.
That's the mindset that you need to have. That's the mindset that you need to have.
Absolutely, Andrew, yeah.
Do you have any tips for people with stress and anxiety?
Stress and anxiety, yes, absolutely. The number 1 tip is don't suffer in silence.
Don't suffer in silence. That's
number
1.
That's the number 1. Get help. You don't want it to spiral out of control. I have clients coming to see me who are depressed, not just anxious and depressed. Mental awareness now in the UK is absolutely, huge. It really is, because there's so many people suffering with it. And sometimes with depression, it needs to be treated with medication, because if there's a deficiency in serotonin, in not just serotonin, but in other levels of of the brain, well, it needs to be balanced
Yeah.
out. You know,
Yeah.
there's only so much that a hypnotherapist can do, but it's certainly worth a try, and going to see a good hypnotherapist. You know.
It's definitely worth a try, even if you see hypnotherapist, a life coach, etc. Because
Yeah.
it's worth the money, in my opinion. Because coaching for me has changed my life. It has made me. It has transformed and increased my income. Actually, I've spent good money on coaching, but it helped me increase my own income,
Yeah,
which
right.
has got me clear-headed.
Well, you're speculating to accumulate in that respect.
That's right. Same with hypnotherapy, right? Imagine something.
Well, because what people are paying for when they come to see me, for example, is it's not just the therapy they're paying for. They're paying for 40 years experience.
They are.
And that doesn't come in a short period.
No, it doesn't.
You know, I do have a good track record, and yes, I don't always get the results that my clients want, but it's not for the want to try it. I always give 100%, and I'm sure the majority of therapists, including yourself, you always give 100% because you genuinely want to help those
That's
people.
why we're in it, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're in it.
Yeah. I mean, we all need money. We've all got bills to pay.
Yeah, of course,
you know,
it's our full-time job.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if you're not greedy and you're an understanding, decent human being, right, and what you're giving is genuine help to people, it's very rewarding. And as Confucius stated, always, if you choose a job that you really love, you will never work again in your life.
I totally agree with that.
And that is
it's
my philosophy, and that's the way.
It's the way I'm living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you're enjoying what you're doing. You're doing something good. You're helping people, and you're getting bills paid at the same time.
I am win-win.
Yeah.
Same with you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the thing is, even my coach said, give abundantly.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I do these tapes and stuff like that, and meet up with people, inspiring people like you to share it with the world. Because if you give abundantly, it will come back to you.
Absolutely.
For example,
well, it's like karma, isn't it?
It's like karma,
Yeah. I've had many cases of karma.
It is.
And,
It works.
one thing I've learned, and your viewers might learn something from this as well, and it's only come like a wine maturing with age, and that is never let negative things stay in your mind, because this is really good advice. It really is. I'm sure it's good advice, because if you allow negative people, negative scenarios, fester in your mind, it's renting space in your mind, and that it's not paying the bill. Nobody's paying the rent in your mind to have that there. Because if there's something that you really can't change in your life, whether it's emotions on a breakdown level, whether it's somebody's ripped you off in business or whatever, the more you go on about it, the more you let it bring you down and make you ill, it's not going to make you better.
It will attract even more of the same.
Yeah, exactly. You've got attraction. You've got to analyse it and say, right, I made a really stupid mistake. I got a parking ticket today and I'm so angry. But think, hang on, I've got to pay the bill. Just pay it. Get on with it. Don't let it take another second of your day. Because if you do, that's bringing you down. It's renting space in your mind that's negative. And if you're holding those feelings, jealousy for one, when people break, and I've been there when you break down in relationships and things like this, it's really unhealthy and it's not good. But if you can actually get the ability to literally shut it off and say, that's the past, this is the day in the future, let it go and learn.
This is brilliant advice.
And in doing that, not only do you turn a negative into a positive, something that's really bad, something that's really negative, it's not all negative because you've learned from it. It's an experience. You move forward, and you don't let that happen again.
That's true, because you basically explain kind of what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction is not woo-woo or something like that. It's the mindset.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
the mindset of having, like dusting it off, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that with hypnosis, for example, like you said, it allows you to clear your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
For 15 to 30 minutes, it allows you to clear your mind and insert the positive programs.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Inserting positive programs.
Well, I'll give you another. It's not an analogy. It's probably a fact actually. I think, and some people may argue against, but I believe that when we are born basically initially as a blank canvas with elements of DNA. So you might look like your mum, you've got your dad's personality, you've got your granddad's illnesses, all passing through the DNA. Okay, so we're born as a blank canvas, and then we're conditioned. We are conditioned by our parents, by our upbringing, by our by religion,
Mm-hmm.
we are conditioned by our education, our interaction with other children as we grow, and on the way we get negative things happen, positive things happen, and before you know it, you're creating the model of who we are. On the way, for example, bullying. Bullying is the most vile, horrible thing you can imagine,
I know.
and that affects people's personalities as they grow. Rather than spiritually growing in love and kindness and happiness, they are subdued and they're bullied, and the kids don't realise at the moment the damage that they're doing to that person. I have it lots. I've had children who come to see me with their parents who have got stammers, literally stammering because of the bullying scenario situation. So, you know, we're conditioned, we grow, we spiritually grow, and if you're very lucky, you're a very powerful, strong person. And equally on the other side of it, you can, if you've had a terrible upbringing, a sad upbringing, it can create problems for you later in life.
I do agree, and I think I'm getting really into a phenomenon called epigenetics by Dr. Bruce Lipton, which he says that the thoughts actually affect our DNA and actually affect
I've heard that before.
our whole entire being. And he actually says that clinical hypnosis is one of the best ways to reprogram the mind. And he says that the first 7 years of a child's life, like you said, in the bullying scenario, etc., is a state of hypnosis, a theta level brainwave, like you know perfectly. And if a person gets traumatized in that age, he's going to throughout his years.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the likes of emulation and copying, and I find a lot of phobias come from, like, a typical scenario is transference from cockroach phobias here in Malta. Don't get them in England, because
we speak about that.
I've never seen a cockroach ever in England, never ever seen one, but in Malta I have, and I have clients come to see me, whether it's a one-to-one or a group session, and they sit down and I say to them, so you got this from your mum, didn't you? And they say, how do you know that? And it's normally because the mother scenario, mum's in the kitchen, their age normally between 3 and 9 years old, and they're watching their mum literally screaming because little insects on the floor, and they associate that with danger, and then they wonder why, as they grow older, mainly females but males too, and as they grow and as they mature, and then this transference carries on with them, and then it breeds into the next generation.
It's the shock they've got in the moment, and they associate it with the object.
So we take them back in time, regress them back, and we take that negative thoughts and everything away, using hypnosis. And I've cured a lot of people with, as people have seen on TV, when here in Malta as well.
I've heard that story millions of times.
When I've had a box of cockroaches, and I hypnotise. This is when I'm doing the television work, to show the power of hypnosis, and people who are scared before, when they see a cockroach, and literally you can see they're absolutely traumatised, and then after the successful hypnotherapy, they put the hand in the tank and the cockroach is running all over the hand and they've got a big smile on their face.
That's crazy. I mean, that TV show, a lot of people mentioned it to me, right? Because they know I'm in these alternative therapies, etc., etc. They always ask me, but how did he do it? How did he do it? I mean, let's ask this. So how did you do it, the phobia thing? It's basic hypnotherapy, right?
Which phobia thing?
The phobia television thing. Kind of explain it through kind of how it works.
Yeah,
if someone has a phobia, for example, and needs to come Alan, how will Alan
Now we're talking TV or we're talking privately?
We're talking TV right now.
Oh, we're talking TV, right. Okay, so the way I work this is, whether it's live or pre-recorded TV. Pre-recorded is easier because you can edit it down. When it's live, you really don't know what's going to come out. But first of all,
you might have some resistance as well.
Well, yeah. It's not just that, but sometimes things happen, and you don't really want to show that, and that's fair enough with everybody who does television.
Yeah.
My the way I work in this instance is I have an audience, a TV studio audience. And before we go live, it's filmed, but it's not broadcast live. The induction, and then I will have a chat with the audience, and I will hypnotise. I'll do massive hypnosis, and then I'll work out who's hypnotised, who's not, and then we'll swap them around, find out what their problems are, and then once we know what their problems are, then we make them into like a category, and then I put a trigger word into their subconscious that when I say a certain word, they'll fall asleep. And then we put them on ice, as to speak, and then we start the show, whether it's pre-recorded or live, and then I present the show with the other presenter, and then we'll introduce a certain people. Now, don't forget, they're already hypnotised before they come onto TV. So all that hard work of
the induction,
they don't need to see that, and it's against the law to broadcast.
That's crazy. I don't know why.
You don't know why?
No, because people think
No, I'll tell you why. Because I think it was in Italy many, many, many years ago. There was a live hypnotist who they broadcast a live induction. And if you've got, think of the consequences of this, especially in today's society. You've got little old ladies eating their tea going, oh, look your hands together like this. I'm on my own, but Allah, I'm going to fall. And the oven's on, the fire's on, the oven's on, the cooking's on, I'm going to go to sleep. And next thing, the house is on fire. You know,
That's
and you
crazy.
also you're going to put people into bad situations in that respect. So that's why the broadcasting standards industry, especially in the UK, America, Canada and everywhere else, civilised countries, they won't allow you to broadcast the hypnotic induction. It's common sense.
Yeah, they don't.
But not only
fair
that,
enough,
not
fair
only
enough.
that, it's boring.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
boring. It's boring. It's
Deeper.
absolutely. Who wants to sit?
Deeper.
Who
and
wants to
deeper.
sit? And you know, when you're wanting to watch entertainment, you're feeling very sleepy, very relaxed. You know, it takes too long. I'm hypnotising you there, aren't I, Andrew? Yeah.
I'm really easy to
Are you
hypnotise.
susceptible?
You're boom,
Oh,
boom.
yeah.
If you
Quick
believe-
induction.
Yeah, you can do one.
Yeah.
Soon,
Right,
he'll get
okay.
me.
Yeah. So on TV, and then once we broke it down into categories, they're already pre-hypnotised. You bring them on stage, onto the set, and then you know what you're going to deal with, and then you deal with that. If it's cockroaches, you know that when I say sleep, they'll go into that sleep stage. You put a suggestion in that they're now cured from cockroaches. They'll be able to be very close to them, and then you wake them up, and there's a bucket of cockroaches. Put your hand in; they're all over the place.
Oh my god, I've done a little bit of research since I knew I'm going to meet you, and I watched the shows, right? And there was a little horse thing, right?
Oh right, yeah,
Poke
okay.
me. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
And that shows the power of hypnosis and how capable Alan is. You know, with all his
It's
experience.
not just horses, dogs, cats, cockroaches. People have all sorts of inherent, for whatever the reason, phobias. I mean, we did a program
This works.
here in Malta a few years ago where we had a lady who was terrified of sharks. I mean, literally terrified of sharks, which most people are.
Yeah, I'm one of.
Yeah, well, I was one, but I'm a scuba diver, and I went.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
was it now? Where did I go? Oh, it was in Mauritius. I went scuba diving in Mauritius and did a shark dive, and I was from me to you away from big reef sharks.
Wow.
And when I was there, it was like confronting
Your fear.
my fear, and
Yeah.
it was
It's like
amazing.
CBT. That's what they do.
Yeah, confronting it.
Yeah.
I was more concerned when I came up to the boat, waiting for my turn to get in the boat, thinking,
Because
someone's going to come up and have my legs off, I was more scared then, but actually down underwater on the seabed, on the reef, there was no problems. But we took this lady who had a phobia of sharks. We took her to the local aquarium and hypnotised her, and she was very close and personal to sharks.
Yeah,
and,
but this is
took
really
that phobia away.
yeah, phobia. This is really precious therapeutic stuff because people see you as, for example, doing some sleep, and it's like something out of this world, like woo-woo and stuff like that.
Well, I still get clients come to see me now who watch
But it's
my
not sleep.
who watch my television shows, and they say, "Can you do this like what you do on TV?" I'll say, "Well, no, not really. This is hypnotherapy, and we go through a procedure, a process. So it's a misunderstanding, it's a miscommunication."
Huge miscommunication because I was like, once a person actually, because you're very famous in Malta, right? You have a huge following
Yeah.
in this area, and since
But that's hard work. It's
since
got me
I'm
that
Maltese-
far.
Yeah, I know.
Very hard work.
Yeah, I know, and you're very good. You're very good. I've seen all your shows.
And I have a good manager, Marcet.
Yes, you have a good manager, Marcel. Yeah, I've contacted her yesterday. No, the thing is that when they see you, it's like they think it's woo-woo and stuff like that. That this guy has a certain superpower. But if he had a certain superpower, why would he work as a hypnotherapist? Because he can go to the bank and say, "Give me all your money," right?
I've
But
actually done that before.
that's-
no, I've hypnotised
Yeah,
one of my
Dan
bank
Brown.
managers. No,
You did?
Dan Brown. Yeah, no, going back 20 years ago, my
Wow.
bank manager smoked cigarettes and he wanted me to stop him, so he got me to come into the bank when all the staff had gone, and I'm sitting in the bank there, and he's in a hypnotic state, a hypnotic
Absolutely.
trance, fast asleep, and I'm thinking, I wonder how many £1,000,000 are in the safe. And then I thought, I had a reality check and I thought, no, great publicity. Hypnotist hypnotises bank manager and takes off to South America with 20 million. No,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
publicity.
but the thought did cross my mind.
yeah, that's crazy. No, true. When someone is really capable of doing and instilling change, anything is possible, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is about the other topic. Actually, Paul McKenna was sued about it. Because of,
Yes. Now.
was it?
Yes. Now I know Paul. We were involved going back about 35 years ago. We were in the same little organisation.
Paul McKenna is the most famous UK hypnotist.
Yeah, he is. He's very good. He's a nice guy, Paul,
Yeah.
and he's done extremely well. And he started like I did, doing the stage, and then he did a few circuits around the theatres, and then decided, he was well ahead of his time, and he decided there's more people needing help with hypnotherapy.
He went in NLP.
Yeah, exactly. Than there is doing the comedy shows. So he started his career doing comedy, and that's when I knew him. So, and he is good at what he does, and he now trains people.
He does, and with the NLP and neuro-linguistic programming, who doesn't know what it is, and NLP is founded on hypnosis.
Yes,
right?
of course it is. Yeah, it's psychology.
It's
The whole thing is psychology.
The whole thing is psychology, and it's a natural state.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, you'd probably be aware of this anyway, but everybody's hypnotised every day when they go to sleep and when they wake up. It's a process in and a process out.
It's a brainwave, right?
Yeah, it's a process in and it's a process out.
Yeah, because some people are afraid of this stuff and stuff like that, and they'd rather go, to. I have nothing against traditional counselors, etc., but they'd rather go to counseling, which might not work for them, and they might not go to Alan, who was a hypnotherapist, because it has hypno in it. Because they think you're gonna make them dance, and
exactly.
you can make them dance, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when I'm working privately, I'm not interested in any of the silly stuff.
No, that's
the entertainment stuff. No, you're there for a purpose, and you're there to help cure them, heal them, help them with their
That's
their
what I
issues.
wanted to get across, right?
Yeah.
A person like Alan.
And it really is a great. The world's opening up now. When I started this 40 years ago, it was considered a grey area. It was considered. People used to think, it was nonsense. I used to people coming up to me saying, "Oh, you can hypnotise her, because she's simple." It's the other way around. You can't hypnotise simple people, tender-minded people. You have to have a brain. I find the best people, certainly on the stage, well, not just on the stage, but with, generally speaking, are people with disciplined minds, whether it's police officers, students. Students are fantastic. They have a very open, very disciplined mind, and I normally get amazing results. In fact, I get parents bringing their kids to me before exam time, because when they've been procrastinating and not doing the work, they bring their kids to me. I hypnotise them, get them to study, to research, and to ingest that information, keep it in there, and then to recall it with exams.
Wow.
And I can tell you now, my success rate is amazing on that, because the kids take it all in a short time, and then when they have their exams, it just flows out, and they nearly always pass and do really well.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be saying that, because kids, make sure that you do the work, put the groundwork in, do it properly, no cut corners.
No,
But if you do, come and see me.
Yeah, go see Alan, 100%. But that's the thing. People really need to know about this stuff. That's why I'm sharing it with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's more people.
And we're lucky, Malta, that we have Alan Bates.
Well,
I'm
thank you very
between
much,
UK
Alan.
and Malta, but we're really lucky that we have a really experienced one.
Yeah, well, I have a clinic in near Liverpool. I live over the water, a place called Wirral, and I have a studio.
You'll never walk alone, or you're a toffee?
No, I don't follow football.
You don't follow, okay.
No.
So you'll never walk
I know
alone.
I spent my time chasing women.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I shouldn't say that, should I?
That's right.
No, when all the lads are going, here we go, here we go. I was thinking, I'd rather dance with her, actually.
Of course.
But I live on the Wirral, and my family was split actually, because my mother and father were Liverpool supporters, and my two brothers are Everton supporters.
Oh gosh.
So that was the conflict of interest there. But the great thing about that is, in Liverpool, Liverpool and Everton fans, the best friends.
There they are.
You can go into the opposite ground wearing your colours, and there's never a problem.
It's not like London.
It's not like no, absolutely not.
London.
And Manchester
gosh.
City, Manchester United. If you went into Manchester United ground with a Manchester City scarf on, you'd be punched.
Manx.
Yeah, the Manx, that's right. And there's a lot of rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester. Even though Manchester people and Liverpool people are very, very similar. And I love Manchester people because they're
Of course,
friendly.
why
The
not?
Northerners are
No.
much more friendly. They are. That's absolute fact. You know.
Everyone tells me that.
No, it is. I mean, I work quite a lot in London, but you'll find that if somebody died on the street in London, most people would stand over you to go to work.
They don't care.
Where if that happened in Liverpool, they'd be picking you up and you, all right, mate, do you want a drink of water? Come on, I'll take you for a beer.
Yeah, London is perfect if you just want to stay in a coffee shop and no one will bother you, stuff like that.
Yeah, but London is like every big city, whether it's New York,
like New York,
and I've
man.
worked in New York,
Yeah, it's like New York.
New York and Paris, all these beautiful, amazing cities. But Liverpool is a great city and it's very
more
friendly.
similar to Malta actually
Yeah.
as well.
Do you know what? We get a lot of Maltese people coming with their wives to support Liverpool.
They
And what
love
they
Liverpool.
do, they bring the wives over. The wives go shopping in L1, which is a massive big shopping mall. Really, really good shopping
Big.
and reasonably
I've
priced.
I've been there.
And then the guys will go to the match and they will support the Liverpool team. And then they come back in the evening and they go out for dinner. And then they come back to Malta and they've had an absolutely amazing weekend.
Liverpool, I've been there about 8 times now.
Wow.
I have an auntie who lives there and cousins.
Right,
They're
right,
actually Scousers as well because they
right.
were born there. Their father
Right,
is from
okay.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I'm really familiar to
Yeah, it's a
Liverpool.
good city, isn't it?
It's a brilliant city. There's a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
People are actually nicer through
Yeah.
than London because I have a lot of work in London since
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of attraction workshops
Yeah,
and
yeah.
etc.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of high-end businessmen. That's the
Yeah.
advantage of being in London.
Mhm.
But then yet again, there's the other aspect of Liverpool, like the friendly atmosphere. It's very similar to
Yeah.
Malta.
Yeah.
London shocked me at first.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
I'm
it is.
Maltese from a small town,
Yeah.
of
You go into
2000
London and
Dingley.
it's absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. Wow, it really is. Opens your eyes. But listen, it's been a really, really good experience, and it's lovely to meet you for the
Yes,
first
me
time
too.
today. And
Yeah.
I do wish you all the very best. You're a lot
That's
younger
true.
than me,
I am.
and hopefully, you'll do very well in your career. And I wish you all the very best. Help as
Thank
many
you.
people as you
And thank you
possible,
for this, Alan.
and enjoy the journey on the way.
Awesome.
Peace.
This was Alan Bates, everyone. Fantastic interview, okay?
My pleasure.
See
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
This was great, man.